What's up, 12s? Seattle is on fire right now, and you need to stick with me till the end because the news that just dropped shook the entire nation. The official roster is locked, but the real surprise came behind the scenes. Rookies made it, the defense had to improvise, and the offensive line is finally showing real signs of turning the corner. But there's way more behind these moves than it looks, and that's exactly what I'm breaking down here. So get settled, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because you can't miss this one. This video is about to change the way you see this team. The first headline that shook the week left fans split between relief and shock. The Seahawks finalized their 53-man roster and immediately started building out the practice squad. Nothing unusual there, right? But here's the positive bombshell. Damian Martinez and Ricky White, two names fans couldn't stop talking about all preseason, are sticking around on the practice squad. To outsiders, that might feel like a small detail, but it's not. First off, it means Seattle kept every single one of its 11 draft picks from the 2025 class. That's right, not one slipped away to another team. That move alone shows a clear strategy from John Schneider and the front office to hold on to every investment they made in this draft. And second, both Martinez and White already proved in preseason games that they've got legit potential. Running back Damian Martinez flashed with some strong runs, field vision, burst, and the kind of physicality that makes you sit up. But he got caught in a crowded room where Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are already locked in. Wideout Ricky White turned heads in practice with crisp routes, secure hands, and good chemistry with the QBs, but he ran into one of the deepest WR rooms in the league. The fact that Schneider found a way to keep them both around sends a message. There's a plan here. Maybe not for week 1, maybe not right away, but at some point the Hawks clearly see these guys stepping on the field and contributing. It's a strategic move that also speaks to the locker room. In Seattle, nobody's disposable. If you've got talent, they'll find a way to use it. But while the rookies brought some relief, the defensive line setup raised serious alarms. When the final 53 dropped, only 3 defensive tackles made it: Jarran Reed, Leonard Williams, and Byron Murphy. The immediate question all over Seahawks Nation was, where's the nose tackle? Where's the anchor piece Mike Macdonald usually leans on in his defensive schemes? To make it worse, Jonathan Hankins is still sidelined on the injury list, throwing a wrench into the plan. That forced Schneider to get creative. On the practice squad, Seattle stashed 3 more DTs: Quinton Bohanna, Brendan Pili, and J.R. Singleton. Bohanna and Pili were both fighting for a roster spot till the very end. What Seattle pulled off was clever: keep the main roster flexible but have the backups right there, ready to be called up. And with the NFL's current rules allowing practice squad elevations without locking them permanently onto the roster, it's almost guaranteed one of them gets activated for week 1 against the 49ers. That shows 2 things. First, the staff trusts their ability to adjust week by week. And second, there's still a real hole in the middle of this defense. Starting a season without a set nose tackle is risky, especially against a rival that loves pounding the rock up the gut. Expect Macdonald to roll out lighter looks, maybe dial up some creative blitzes, but that missing piece is still a major question mark. In that setup, the experience of Reed and Williams becomes even more critical because they'll be carrying the load until the rotation stabilizes. And speaking of adjustments, we've got to talk about the offensive line. For years, this has been the Seahawks' biggest headache. From the Russell Wilson era through coaching changes, big money swings that didn't pan out, and veteran patch jobs, the OL has been the weak spot. But 2025 feels different. With John Benton coaching the line and Clint Kubiak as offensive coordinator, the unit showed a whole new vibe this preseason. They played with attitude, energy, and a chip on their shoulder to prove themselves. And now that the official starting 5 is set, fans are starting to feel a spark of confidence. It's Charles Cross at left tackle, Gray Zabel at left guard, Jalen Sundell at center, Anthony Bradford at right guard, and Abe Lucas at right tackle. And this didn't just fall into place. Sundell, for example, struggled early against the Raiders but bounced back strong versus the Chiefs, showing good chemistry with Zabel, his old teammate from North Dakota State. That pairing, plus the extra reps while Olu Oluwatimi was injured, locked down his spot. Bradford might be the biggest shocker. After being pegged as the weak link for the past 2 years, he made a massive leap this preseason, silencing critics and even pushing Christian Haynes out of the picture. Haynes now starts the year on injured reserve, which cements Bradford's rise. It's proof that Seattle isn't just winging it, they're actually building a stable core. There's still some caution though. The backup tackles, Josh Jones and Mason Richmond, held their own when called on, but the interior depth remains thin. If any of the 3 starters inside go down, it could get ugly. That's where fans wonder if Macdonald has a plan B. But bottom line, for the first time in years, the Seahawks are entering a season with real respect on the OL. Amid all these roster moves, one decision hit fans right in the feels. Shaquille Griffin was added to the practice squad after being released to make room for corner Darian Kendrick from the Rams. So it's not some big comeback years later, it's a calculated move to keep Griffin in-house in a different role. Griffin, a 2017 draft pick, Pro Bowler in 2019, and a starter for 4 years in Seattle, knows this franchise inside and out. He's not the star anymore, but his presence as a mentor for a young CB group is huge. Devin Witherspoon, Rick Woolen, Josh Jobe, Nehemiah Pritchett, and Kendrick are the core, and they're all still early in their careers. Having Griffin there adds depth, but more importantly, it brings leadership and calm to the room. His recent stops with the Jags, Texans, Panthers, and Vikings had ups and downs, but last season he played all 17 games for Minnesota and picked off 2 passes. He's not the explosive athlete he once was, but he's still reliable in key moments. For 12s, seeing him stick around brings a mix of security and nostalgia, a reminder of a player who left his mark here and proof that experience and youth can coexist on this defense. So 12s, the week was full of highs and lows, but it all came down to smart roster management. Seattle kept every rookie, a rare and promising sign for the future. They exposed a real concern on the defensive front that needs fixing fast. But they also gave fans something they've been waiting over a decade for, an offensive line that actually looks legit. And to top it off, Griffin is still here, proof the team values both its roots and the balance between experience and youth. Now I want to hear from you 12s. Which move hit you the hardest? Was it keeping Damian Martinez and Ricky White, showing the Hawks held on to all 11 draft picks? Was it the bold decision to start the year without a set nose tackle? Or was it seeing the offensive line finally look like it can hold down a competitive offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to feel the full power of the Seahawks Nation here. And of course, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because here you'll never miss a beat on the latest news about our team. Thanks for riding with me all the way 12s. Let's push Seattle toward a historic season. Go Hawks!